think that's the problem with, I guess being creative. You've got all these questions on it all, and it's pretty ruthless. All that stuff's quite ruthless. Every industry is quite ruthless once you start getting into it.
I'm Robin Johnson, and this is Yours for the Making. Today, we've got Andy Walker. Andy Walker, artist from Brighton and Hove.
And you're right, I've been doing art for years and years and years, but like everything else, I've just kept it in a drawer. And then I did a little exhibition in Brighton, and a woman came in and saw my little drawings, my little sketches, and then she said that day she was going to take me to the art fair.
This show is all about the makers, whether it's art, food, woodwork, metalwork, whether they're craftsmen or hobbyists. This show is all about making.
Yeah, I guess I said before about me being that guy when you walk in and go, what, that much for that? Because that work's really brave, to put a real single line on a piece of paper and put it up on a wall for a price. People, that's bravery, that is. So you've just got to be brave, that's it. And when you think it's the same as you're making something and selling it,
yeah,
that's ace, isn't it? It's just like, whoa. Especially when you see someone who sees it and they love it.
I'm Robin Johnson, and this is Yours for the Making. And today, we've got Andy Walker. Andy Walker, artist from Brighton and Hove.
Hi. Artist from Brighton and Hove and Manchester.
And Manchester.
I'll just put that in there.
But you know what? You're a man who's lived many lives, Andy. And I want to explore that a little bit, because you've got a story about everything.
All right, okay. Where are we starting?
Well, let's start with the art.
Okay.
So I saw on your Instagram,
Yeah.
you're up in London at some fancy exhibition, selling all your pieces.
Yeah, well, that happened quite recently, actually. So I guess the art fair, affordable art fairs.
That's the one.
And you're right, I've been doing art for years and years and years, but like everything else, I've just kept it in a drawer. And then I did a little exhibition in Brighton, and a woman came in and saw my little drawings, my little sketches, and then she said that day she was going to take me to the art fair. Simple as that. Done. After being in a drawer for 25 years, she said, yes, let's take you there.
But I find your art fascinating. When I finish my house, I'm definitely
I'm
going to buy something to put on the wall.
It's gone expensive now, mate.
Oh.
Really expensive.
It's
That's
double
the
the price
beauty of
after
this.
this.
Yeah, yeah, it's got
But,
really expensive.
I mean, it's really interesting stuff, isn't it? It's like, I don't want to cheapen it, but it's stickmen, isn't it, really? You're painting stickmen.
Yeah, it's modern Lowry, mate. Yeah, it's modern Lowry. It's simple marks. It's trying to get to really naive mark making, which I think takes a lot of understanding that you've got to go through the process of doing everything else to get to that point. Some people walk in and just say it's like a kid's done it, which is kind of the point. Do you know what I mean?
But you're playing with scale now as well, because you're creating pieces that are absolutely massive.
Yeah, the next step for me is to make it as big as possible, which is proving to be a bit harder than I anticipated, because it's a confidence thing. It's just a confidence pushing out.
We've had Mr. Doodle, Sam Cox, on the show, friend of the show.
Is he based down here?
He is, yeah, he's over in Kent.
Mr. Doodle, the guy with the house, house doodle guy.
The house.
Oh, okay.
I've been to the house.
Yeah, well, maybe I should.
Maybe that's next.
Maybe I could have done that before him, thinking back. If I kept mine all in a drawer rather than attacking the house.
Well, now it's out.
I think he did that before having kids, didn't he?
Yes.
I think he did that, yeah.
He did,
I don't think I was doing it whilst having kids, so not sure the Doodle house would have worked.
Well, you could have blamed it on them if it didn't go right.
I could have blamed it on them. But he's been on and he grew online, didn't he? Just going,
yeah.
But as an illustrator, whereas I did a fine art degree.
Oh,
which is different.
Did you,
yes,
darling?
Yes, I did. I did a fine art degree, which means that back then you came out and really there was nowhere to go with it. Do you know what I mean? So when you say I've done loads of different things, it's probably because you're not guided into what to do next back then. Whereas I think now with the internet and everything else, you've got more of a process of pushing forward, getting a business going. Whereas I came out and it was kind of get a job time. So you got all that in the way because you start earning money, which kind of kills it. Do you know what I mean? That's how it started.
And what was your kind of journey then? You've done your fine art degree. What happened next?
Well, yeah.
Talk me through it, Andy.
Well, you look back and you think it's really different. It's a different time. So I came out of my fine art degree. I went back to Manchester, did my fine art degree in Liverpool. So that's obviously a 3-year course. Went back to Manchester, started doing odd jobs to go travelling. And then when I was doing my art degree, I had the opportunity to work in the surf industry, doing an exhibition stand. And whilst I was there, I enjoyed that energy. And I just said, if anything comes up, give me a shout. And then whilst I was in Manchester, I was working in a hospital, got a phone call for an interview down south, came down south, and basically became a flip-flop salesman. which was exactly what I was trained to do. And that's the truth of it, you know what I mean? There was no plan then, because there was no plan of doing it. So came out, ended up being a flip-flop salesman after doing visual merchandising for him, which was the art side. But of course, there's no real money in that. That cost the company stuff. But because I could sell a bit, we started selling flip-flops.
That's what I was doing when I came out of my degree, which was a surf science degree.
Yeah, there was a connection though, isn't there?
Yeah, and I started doing visual merchandising for the big surf brand, and I actually loved it because you didn't have to sell anything.
No, I loved it.
Everyone loved you because you turn up at their store, you make it look nice, and they can sell a load more stuff.
Give them things.
Give them stickers.
Exactly. Well, we had the same. It's weird. We had exactly the same.
Yeah.
Different times, was it? Same.
Different times. But
yeah.
You're a couple of years older than me, I think.
Yeah. Look it. Yeah, I am.
But it was the same, and it was quite nice for me getting into the surf industry that way, coming from I spent my whole life surfing and then working in the industry, but as a friendly face rather than the rep that's trying to flog your stuff all the time.
See, it's really funny for me because I came from Manchester. I've been in Liverpool. I didn't surf, but I had long hair, so I looked like a surfer. So I looked like a bomb. And everyone thought I could surf. But I couldn't surf. And I remember coming out of Newquay. I remember coming out of the sea at Newquay, and I nearly drowned. And I got into the van with all the paraphernalia on the side of it that looks cool. And I put the board at the side, and I was sat in it, and I thought, this is the coolest I've looked. Because when I was in the sea, I looked like I was dying and didn't know what I was doing. It was freezing. It was February. I remember it. It put me off forever. But and I put the board at the side, and I was like, I look cool now. Because I don't think I've been surfing. They've missed me surfing. Some sponsored rider, but yeah.
You've been trying at least.
But I did everywhere, I did Belgium and Holland. Did all of that area with visual merchandising. The whole of Ireland, whole of the UK, Belgium, Holland. So if you think about, I don't know if you'd be. I don't think a guy would do that now.
I did Ireland and the south of England.
Yeah,
and that's
big enough, wasn't it?
Hard work. Yeah, because we're in a lot of stores.
Yeah,
I mean everyone sold brand that I work for.
Yeah.
And then they had their own board ride stores as well. So I'd be doing all the independents and then all the board rides. And then at the start of the decline, we went into Debenhams and John Lewis and stuff. So I was trying to visual merchandise in Debenhams. It was like you walked in, you did what you needed to do, and then their visual merchandiser would come and go, no. This is how we do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But it's funny, isn't it? Because you sort of, like you said, you're giving stuff away, you're just doing nice things. And it's creative. It was creative.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
And I always doodled, you know what I mean? So going back to the art, I always doodled all the time to do that. And I also did a bit of writing. And that's kind of where the style came from, was the doodles and the writing. Whilst on the road. So I used to take my guitar and just write songs and be on the road and doodle.
I mean, that's one of your other lies, Andy. I've seen you in the Brighton Centre.
Yeah.
With the brothers.
The surf brothers.
Yeah.
Surf brothers.
It's not Bushman, is it?
Yeah, Bushman brothers. Yeah.
God,
that was a long. That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
But you're a man. You've got many talents.
I'll tell you what, mate.
Music's one of them. Definitely.
I had a big. At one point, we had a Sprinter van, and I can remember playing my guitar in the van, driving from Newcastle to London. Because you could stand up in it. Oh man, I remember that. So going past people like that. Yeah, but it was kind of, I remember that. I remember that's playing a guitar in the van.
Whilst you driving?
That was pre sort of like cameras.
So no one knew.
Yeah, just God knows how I didn't die in that van.
But you've recorded a couple of albums.
Done 2 albums. One big album. Which again has been in a drawer. No one's ever heard it. I had this. I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you what was really good with the art. This was quite recently. I said to a mate of mine who I went to art college with, and I've known him 25 years. I said to him, I don't want the art to go the way the album went. And he said, what album? I never told anyone. Because I'd never told anyone. I was saying, I don't want the art to go, I've got to get it out there, which I'd never done with the music. What music? And then I sent it to him, and he was just like, it's a proper album.
Yeah.
It's done by a guy called Peter Smith, who won a Grammy with Sting for his first solo album. So it's a proper album done in Copenhagen with a 30-piece orchestra.
And what's it doing? Sitting in the drawer?
Just sat on a hard drive.
Why do you think it is? Is it because
Fear, I think.
Fear?
Maybe
it's a confidence
fear.
thing.
Maybe, I don't know. It's just, it didn't sound like me once I did it. You know what I mean? It was too big. I was just a guy with a guitar. I was driving a van. You know what I mean? Live. But when it went that big, it just didn't fit what I did. You know, it felt weird. So, yeah.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if it's imposter. I don't know. Just weird, surreal. It was a really weird story how I got that album deal.
Tell me.
Well, so I was working in the surf industry then, and I was selling all manner of hardware. And I was doing the album. I was doing music on the side. And in the first job, the one where we're a visual merchandiser, the ones you were talking about before, when I left that job, because I'd sort of got bored with it and didn't know what I was, and I'd had Connor, my son, and I thought I'd better move on and do something grown up. But when I left, the guy said to me, the boss said, all right, what else were you selling? Did you ever get this?
No.
Right, so he says to me, what else were you selling? And I'm like, what? He goes, what were you selling? You know, I pay for your van, I pay for the fuel, I pay for the hotels. You're on the road, you've got loads of room in the van, you're going around all these shops. What else were you selling? And I'm like, it was a real plop, you know what I mean? Like, nothing. I wasn't making any money on the side. It was a real kind of like, oh man, that's a big mistake, you know what I mean? So when I walked out, I remember that conversation in my head thinking, God, yeah, that's crazy, you know what I mean? I didn't do anything else. Isn't it? We were like, you know, it's like playing truant, really.
Yeah.
That job.
Yeah.
No one could tell where you were or what you were doing.
No, it was before.
Anyway, yeah.
Stuff.
So then I went into something else. It went tits up really quickly. It was a really good time because my wife didn't have any work, I didn't have any work, and we had a young kid. So I got another job, which was properly in the surf industry. So I start doing that, and then along with that, I'm doing all the gigs, little gigs here and there, do some recording, do some bits. And my brother-in-law was working for this really wealthy guy up in the north. And they were drunk one night and ended up at his house. And I think it might have even been MySpace. Do you remember that? It was MySpace. And
were you in his top 8?
Yeah. And they were drinking, oh, my brother-in-law does music. He played it. And this guy was like, whoa, this is amazing. What's he doing with this? What's this? What's going on with this? And he goes, it's in a drawer. And he goes, get him up. Let's have a chat with him. So that's how it started. And then basically I went up, had a chat with him. And in this chat, when I got there, he had a glass. He had an office block that he built that was glass. And it actually had a glass lift in it, like Charlie on the Chocolate Factory.
No way.
Exactly like Charlie. And he was Willy Wonka up at the top, and I went up to the top and had a chat with him. He goes, I really like you. Why don't you put together a package of how much it's going to cost to make an album, and send it to me, and let's see if we can do something.
And then what? You went and found Sting's producer?
No. Yeah. I rang Sting up and said, who'd you win that Grammy with? He's really good, mate. I went back home and made some, I just was like, what's this all about? There's a reason for this though, because I put the package together with a mate of mine who was probably just as well versed in it as me. And it's weird, you fast forward X amount of years, and I know loads of musicians and loads of people in that game. But back then I didn't. I knew everyone in the surf industry who were like basically bombs who knew nothing. But I put the package together, sent it up to him, went to see him again, and he signed off the deal. So it's 3-year deal, 3 years money, 3 years investment, blah, blah, blah. And it was then that I realized when Pete asked me, what did you do? I used to go to recording studios and phone them up and say I was in London. Yeah, it all made sense. I'd be in my house playing and I was basically wagging it. I wasn't selling stuff, I was just wagging it and doing stuff for me. So that little question What else were you selling? Oh, I wasn't actually selling. I was just staying in recording studios and playing with bands when I should have been working for you. That's what I was doing. And later on, it paid off more than selling some towels or something. So, yeah, it was great though. That was the bit. Oh, I didn't waste that time. It worked. It worked eventually. You know what I mean? So that's yeah. There you go. Quite long-winded, but.
And then you flew to Copenhagen to record it.
Flew to Copenhagen to record the first 3 with cash. They wanted cash. Yeah, 40,000 euros, I think.
How did you carried it over on the plane? In a bag over your shoulder. Anything to declare, sir? No.
Yeah, I think it's 40 grand. I think it's 40, yeah.
Jeez.
I don't know why it was cash. The guys, it's just probably not do that bit. But did the recording in a place called Mill Factory, which is just outside of Copenhagen.
Wow.
Huge place. So it's like the size of your workshop here. It's so vast. And for me, I'd just been playing. I mean, I did my first EP in someone's bedroom, and he'd built his cupboard into the sound booth. That was the first, and that's what the guy heard.
Wow.
So, and then we were in this huge vaulted ceiling warehouse building with all these, musicians from around, Copenhagen. They were Danish and from Norway, the amazing musicians. But of course, me, I'm a bit of a banter man, aren't I? So they don't really have the banter, really. The band didn't really have any banter. Do you know what I mean?
So you're taking the mick out of them all the time?
No, not at all. It's just they don't get any. There's nothing there. I've worked with Danes afterwards, and they're lovely people, but I just don't have the
rapport.
No, not really. So it was a very weird 4 weeks that, I guess, doing that. It shows you it's an art form really when you see it like that, because it's if you're taken out of normality and put into that, and you've not done that before, it's quite a shock to the system. It is a bit of fear there, yeah.
But what was the expectation? So you got a guy that's basically funded your album.
There's no expectation, is there?
And he wasn't like, right.
Oh, he wanted me. I wanted to play to 100 people and charge him 20 quid. He wanted to play to 100,000 people and charge him 500 quid. You know what I mean? And I'm just like,
you could be in Ed Sheeran before Ed Sheeran.
You haven't heard it, have you?
I have actually.
Oh, yeah,
I have actually. Yeah.
No, yeah. It's just. I was older when it all happened weird. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't young. It was amazing though. Amazing experience. But like I said, I just kept it in a drawer. It's kind of weird because if you've not got the channel to go through with it, a friend of mine works with an artist who's done really well, and the amount of money you have to spend to do that to get there is quite amazing, and the energy and time you have to put into it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's why when you do your first jobs like we did, and you're running around everywhere doing all this work, the boss loves it. The young guys doing all the energy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't do it forever. So I guess, I don't know what his expectation was massive, but it was just before the big crash that. And that guy got hurt bad in the big crash, lost everything, including that Willy Wonka's factory. Put the keys through the glass door.
So it probably if you weren't fancying going out on tour to packed stadiums, the crash probably did you a bit of a favour then. You were probably the least of his worries. I
really wasn't going to do stadiums. No. That was a long way off. That was a long way off. I still, that wasn't the dream. That wasn't the dream anyway.
Not yours, but it was his.
Yeah, he had this idea. Yeah, he had an idea of bigger things. What I realise now is what you have to do. You have to push that. You have to push it as big as you can. You have to try and see it as far as you can. But with music, that my music didn't fit that bill really.
And you've done it. Just forget about that and start a little agency now.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I suppose no, it's just you have to just crack on, don't you? Because the money dried up.
Yeah.
I still writing and all the rest of it, but I still carried on writing. I wrote all the way through it. Got about 685 albums worth. You said about Ed Sheeran. It's just like, Jesus, this guy's doing exactly. He's just putting everything he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what works. The more you do, the better it gets, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's it's quite an abrupt stop. But I knew it was happening, and I'd already contacted loads of people within the business.
But you still do gigs every now and again.
Yeah, occasionally. To
Anyone,
three or four people.
Anyone lucky enough to see
wife.
Andy live?
Yeah. The kids who quickly leave.
But you know what? We went. They don't leave.
No.
That one girl stayed behind. But, she had that thing in her ear, though, didn't she? But we saw you. Was it Brighton Centre or Pavilion or something like that when you did the warm up for the Bushmans? It was packed.
Yeah. No, it's packed.
And you were. I mean, I love the Bushmans. They're great guys, good surfers as well. But you were the warm-up act, Andy. You killed it.
No, it was a good day. Yeah, it's good. There's no pressure
Really
on that.
killed it.
There's no pressure.
People were getting up and leaving when the Bushmans were on, but everyone was like, you had a standing ovation at the end of it. So, and you look like you own that stage as well. You know, you look like that was your calling.
That was my calling.
And then I was saying to Paul, I went with Paul, me, Paul, and Brett all sat next to each other, and we were like, why does he not do this for a living? He's incredible.
I keep it in a drawer. You know what? You ask those questions and you sort of like, sometimes it's that doing, innit? And once you start making it, once you start putting the pressure on it, it starts becoming something else. And that was with the album, the pressure, the pressure of trying to do Wembley or something. I mean, it's kind of like, is that really a thing? So maybe it's all that. I mean, I think that's the problem with, I guess being creative. You've got all these questions on it all, and it's pretty ruthless. All that stuff's quite ruthless. Every industry is quite ruthless once you start getting into it, because there's only a certain amount of time and energy people can put in. But yeah, I still love it. I still don't think it's over, mate. I think I might make a comeback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think I might do Vegas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I might get a run at Vegas.
Like C6 Steve, you could be like that guy, couldn't you?
Yeah.
He was doing all right for a bit.
He did all right. Did all right, yeah.
You just got to come up with a backstory.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, exactly. He actually, I don't know, anyway, yeah. Hopefully.
Interesting guy.
Very interesting guy.
I walked into a pub in Brighton, not in Brighton, in Dublin when I was VMing over there. I walked into the pub in the Temple Bar.
Yeah.
And there he is, sat down with his diddly bow. And like, it was probably just about the time when his first album that really went big, you know.
Yeah.
I think later on that year I saw him at a festival and he was like the headline or warm-up act headline. But he's sitting in the corner of this pub with his diddly bow, just sort of singing along. A couple of people sort of stood around watching. I walked in and was like, is that C6 Steve guy that I saw on MySpace? So he was like, I don't think it is. And then the next song he played was the one that was like, the big one, his first big one.
Can't remember it.
No, I can't either.
I do love one of his lines though, and that is that I've come into this world with fuck all and I've still got most of it left. That's my philosophy. You know what I mean? That's just like, I love that. That's just that is genius. Like, yeah, I love that, mate. But he came late, didn't he? I mean, I think he was in the late 60s.
Yeah.
So a few years, a couple of years.
He's still there.
Still time. But he's another guy. I guess he had loads. He'd done loads and loads of stuff.
So have you?
Yeah. But it's just that thing of you've done loads and loads of bits, but it's that little moment in time, innit? Like that guy, my brother-in-law playing that album meant that I got the chance to do this huge album, whether anyone heard it or not. But it was always a dream. I always thought I wanted an orchestra, but when I got it, I was like, what's going on? This isn't right. I mean, probably because when you got the producer, it's all in a different timeline to you. But yeah, I always wanted that. I thought, I'd be like that. I could be that big. But now I've gone right back to just a 3-piece or something like that. That's what I think really works for me. So still time, mate.
Good.
Dream's still alive. The dream is still alive.
And they come full circle back round to the art.
Yeah, which has always been there. So yeah, that's So it's funny, isn't it? It's mad, really, because I was good at sales. I enjoyed sales. I enjoyed talking to people and all the rest of it. So I was good at that. But along the line of it, you realise you've not got that. I don't know if you're the same. When you're in sales on that level, you see those killer sales guys. That is it. Their whole life is sales. I never had that. Because of all the other stuff behind. Always had the art, always had the music. So I never had that.
I always feel, my job here, I guess, is getting the sales in, but I always feel that I can't be that guy that's pushing for the sales because it doesn't feel genuine to me. But the feedback that I get when people come to us, and we're not the cheapest, but when businesses or people come to us for joinery packages or whatever, it's not because I've pushed it to them, and I've been that sales guy. It's like, yeah, you know, we can do this, we can do that, you know, and you want us because of this. I'm just like, look, here's what we offer. Here's what you pay a bit more for it, but here's what you get for it, and it's a lasting thing. And come to the workshop, have a look around. You know, I can show you other places where we've done, and that normally sort of sells it for me more than going in, you know, full steam ahead, like buy. I'll give you this discount, and you can do this.
Yeah.
And it just feels a bit.
But you remember those guys, don't you?
And, yeah.
I mean, this is a bespoke service, isn't it? So it's, you know, you there's more to it than sell. But
there are people in this industry who do the same thing as me, and they got sales guys, and those guys are like,
you know. Targeted, it's all targeted.
Yeah.
So I guess like you, I didn't like that. That didn't fit too well with me. So when I came out of the music and started my agency, I'm like you. I'm like, yeah, you want it. If you don't, you don't. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I know it's good, it works. You know, that's the way it goes. But always having the art of music behind, always felt there was somewhere to go. That's it, somewhere else to go. Whereas loads of people don't have that. So the art's gone full circle. And when you think it's the same as you're making something and selling it, that's ace, isn't it? It's just like, whoa. Especially when you see someone who sees it and they love it. Yeah. That is an incredible feeling. Yeah. And as we spoke earlier, if you've got a piece that is the only piece in the world, do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's the only one. I got really upset. I didn't get that upset. The exhibition in London, there was 5 paintings that sold the first day, right, which is pretty good. And I'd normally live with him in the house for about a year. Do you know what I mean? That's the normal thing. I'd have them in our house for a year. And and you start to love them and that, and then they leave. These ones went straight from my studio into the fair and sold, and I was a bit like, huh? You know what I mean? It's my baby. I didn't even spend any time with them. Didn't even say goodbye. And they're in these houses all dotted around, which is great, which is obviously what you want. But, you know, you were saying, bro, what is it about letting these things go? Now I'm letting it go. You know, that's the thing I've struggled with, passing things on and going, this is what I do, this is it. But now I'm like, yeah, come on. They're brilliant.
My dad's the same. He's like the anti-sales guy. Do you ever you met my dad before?
Yeah. Brett's got the light thing. The light, the wall light.
Yeah, that's it.
Great.
Yeah. So he does the illuminated ceramics and stuff. They live in France, their mum and dad, but he has like an open studio. He's not a sales guy at all. I've been trying to help him. Got him a little Instagram to put his stuff up on that. He just likes doing his own thing. Being in the studio, doing a bit of gardening, go for a little swim. That's his life. But he really wants to sell stuff, but he'll have an open studio or something, invite a load of people, 20, 30 people come around, look at his studio. He's got all the fantastic pieces, plates, bowls, illuminated panels, everything. He'll come in, someone will go, oh, I really like that one, I want that one. He goes, oh, I don't think you want that one. It's not quite right, you know, there's a little, you know, a bit of the blue's a bit lighter in that bottom corner, and they're like, no, we want it, we'll take it. It's like, yeah, no, but I don't know if I want to sell you that one. And he's either a genius in that they're then going to offer him loads more money. Maybe I should give him more credit for it. He's either a genius or he's like, every time I hear the story, mum will ring me up, go, you never guess what your dad did. 10 people wanted to buy 10 pieces and he put them off every single one.
But do they eventually buy them more?
Yeah, quite often. He'll decide eventually what he'll want to let go of.
It's really common, I think. And that's why you need an agent. That's why you need someone else, that middle ground, to just take that away and say, look, I can sell this, because then it's taken off your shoulders.
I think that works well, because a lot of creative people I speak to, super good, super creative, just want to do what they're doing. They don't want to have any of the hassle of marketing it or selling it or dealing with anyone else.
It's the business thing, isn't it? It's like. You see it now. I see this. I think I see this loads, and that's where someone who's pretty mediocre is really good at all the business aspects and does really well. Do you know what I mean? Because they just hype it all up. The product's not that great. They've not really done the 9 yards. They've not done the work really. But they're brilliant on Instagram. You see it all the time, don't you? And it's like, you know, you can't, in any business, you wouldn't put someone in charge of marketing if they're really good at sales. Do you know what I mean? You'd be like, oh yeah, we need a market and sell. You know, you need to. It's very rare you get all in one. And for me, I'm the same. I'm useless at self-promotion. That's probably why, that's another reason why, you know, just like a rabbit in the headlights when it comes down to that stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
But again, a lot of creative people, they feel that's disingenuous. You know, you'll make something, you don't want to go singing from the rooftops. Oh, hi everyone, here's my latest picture. You think,
kind of
you
thing
know,
I should know. Kind of think I should know.
Yeah, you should, but it just makes you want to vomit, doesn't it? You know,
This is brilliant. This is brilliant. No, yeah. But when you've got someone else doing that, that's ace. That really puts your shoulders back and thinks, right, we can start now. Which was a little bit like when, like say, the similarity between the music and what happened in music and what happened in art is Lara, who's my sales agent, she came and saw my sketchbooks and was like, oh my God, the sketchbooks, which was exactly the same as the guy here in the sketches that I did in my mate's cupboard in his bedroom, you know what I mean? So it's like they got the essence of it. And I was like made up because she's good. And that takes it to the next level. The start, really, after doing 25, 30 years on it.
wow.
Isn't it? It's a lot of time, isn't it?
What sort of inspires you when you sit down at a canvas, stand up at a canvas?
You know what? Some of it's just like, sometimes I think to myself, I honestly think it'd be lovely to be the painting when people go into a gallery and go, that much for that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
You want to be that guy.
That guy that's like, fuck, that much for that? Jesus, that's a piss take. You know what I mean? Part of it's kind of like, you have that kind of, fight with yourself, because a lot of stuff I do is really I try to go as naive as possible. I did my dissertation on autism, actually. It's a long time ago I did my dissertation, and it was about this. I don't know if you remember that guy, Stephen, who used to go and do New York skyline, and he just could memorize it and just draw it. You know, it's quite famous. Oh, it's still famous. And I did it on him, and whether that was art, saying, is that art when someone's not really thinking? So kids work and all this, and rolled in. And I was always fascinated by that, just marks made and all the rest of it. So you learn, obviously you sort of as a kid taught not to do that. You know, if you can't draw a face, it's kind of, oh, that's not very good. This is how you draw a face. So you're taught how not to communicate through just caveman work, if you like. Do you know what I mean? So I'm almost fascinated. So you go through the whole process of learning all this life drawing, all this stuff, and then now doing these big marks and trying to make an image say something without it being obvious. That's kind of where I'm at the moment. Big pieces and just energy, and just that we're just going through this space, and it's just that moment is on that piece. And if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, then you're going, what for that? What that? Because people want yeah, that's beautiful, you know, the technical stuff. So you've got to learn all the technical stuff, I think, to not do the technical stuff. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes when the best joinery we make looks like you haven't really done anything to it.
Yeah.
But secretly, you know, behind the scenes, you can't see any visible fixings or anything like that. Behind the scenes, it's like the most technical, hardest thing to do, which you need 100 machines to pass your wood through in exactly the right way to make this thing that looks like it's just always been like that.
You mentioned the chairs that you do, you know, and how many man hours that takes to get that chair. No one sees that when they go, see, you know, it's a chair to a lot of people, isn't it? What for that?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a chair that probably in 1,000 years' time will still be sat on.
Quite
possibly.
possibly.
The IKEA one will probably be in landfill, mate.
I showed a mate yesterday. I was out for dinner with friends yesterday, and I showed him a picture of the chair. And one of my mates said, "Oh, is that made from one bit of wood?"
Yeah, there you go.
How many bits of wood is that?
And you said yes.
Well, it's not really one, but that's the idea. That's the same thing. You know, you want something to look completely seamless, or with like the most subtle joint or whatever. Or if you make a joint, you want it to really look great. And the only way you can do that is by doing it the right way and learning all the techniques and having all that knowledge and experience to be able to do that and produce it like that, so it looks that way.
Yeah,
I
getting it wrong.
Same. Oh,
getting it wrong loads of times,
thousands of times.
I don't know if anyone understands that. Yeah, I think sometimes, well, they do understand, but the cost of doing a creative pursuit, whether it's music, whether it's art, whatever it is, you know, joinery, whatever you're doing, the hours, man hours you put in to get to where you are, and you're never finished. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the bit I love about it. You're never finished.
It's never, that 10,000 hours theory.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is 10,000 hours, and then the rest, because it's never finished.
Yeah.
You know, I guess, you know, you write a song or you do a piece of art. It's kind of like, you know, you're always wanting to do the next one, rather than go out and sell it.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to sit down and paint a painting and go and take it to a gallery.
Yeah.
But it doesn't pay the rent, does it?
Well, But then it's great that you got an agent now.
Yeah, and that's made a massive, massive difference. Someone to talk to, someone to go to, and it makes you, it's a proper springboard. And it's never too late, you know what I mean? That's the lovely thing about it, isn't it?
And you got the gallery.
And I've got a gallery, the Walker Gallery, yeah.
Where's that?
It's all mine.
Hove?
Hove.
Queen's Place?
Queen's Place, Hove.
Excellent.
Yeah. That is great, and that's new. That's new now. Been there a while, but it was my studio, but now I've got an actual gallery space.
You mean you painted it all white and hung some stuff up?
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Still a garage.
Give it the gallery look.
Yeah, but there's 3 galleries down that street now.
Yeah.
3.
It's quite changed.
Yeah, Cameron Gallery's just moved in. They're moving in this summer.
It's like a destination spot.
It's going to be a destination. So that's great, because that's what we need. That's what's needed, just to get it on the map.
Yeah.
The more the merrier. It's a bit like, do you need another one? But yeah, you do. You know,
it's funny, isn't it, how that works? Whenever I go to, I don't know, like Morocco or something, you go to Souk, you're walking in this indoor market.
I've not been there. Marrakesh?
Anywhere in Morocco, Marrakesh, Morocco, even like...
Going next week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, got it for my birthday.
Well,
sweet.
Here you go. You'll think of me when you walk in the Souk. You walk down the Souk, right? You got the greengrocers, and you must have 30 blokes in a line, all selling the same oranges, the same whatever fruits they're selling, and everyone's got them all set up in a line. And you think, surely this doesn't make business sense, because surely, you know, what differentiates you from him? Because they're selling the same stuff, same price. But then, and then you go a bit further down, and there's like everyone with the knockoff jewellery, and then everyone with the knockoff clothes.
That's the bit I'm interested in.
Yeah, me too. I've got a really massive ring, Signet. But you walk down there and you think, what? This doesn't make any sense. Why would I position myself next to another joinery shop and then another joinery shop next door? It doesn't make sense. But for things like art, I mean, it's a destination, isn't it?
It's like restaurants as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Art restaurant. You know that area. It's just where that little golden area is in Hove. It'll have all art. It's got all the coffee shops, restaurants.
It's
very
bougie.
It is very bougie. And that's why I'm there.
I think because your gallery was my old workshop,
it was
my first
your old
workshop, and I can tell you some stories about that place. I'll tell you. You washed the walls.
Your workshops look like. Did you have it? Was it cleared when you? Did you have little sections?
Yeah, we did.
All in weird sections,
we had it in weird sections. Room at the back. Yeah, so Joe from Small Batch Coffee, the photographer, he had a dark room at the back.
Which was like
I think he used it once in a year.
Dungeon, and it was damp on it. That wall has only just been repaired now.
Oh goodness! And then the middle one was Adam,
drummer.
Yeah, the drummer Adam, who
he
used to make furniture, didn't he? Yeah. He called it porniture, didn't he?
Porniture, yeah.
He used to get furniture from the
stick porn on it
from the antique shop, or not the antique
glue
shop,
porn on
shops,
it.
and glue bits of porn, and then varnished over the top of it. I tell you,
genius.
I should probably get him on here. Actually,
he did the red bush, you know.
Yeah,
he did the red bush, didn't he?
Or the green bus.
The green bus.
Yeah, he did. Well, he did one bus and it burnt down, didn't it? And then he's done I think he's done another one now.
Yeah,
but he was on Grand Designs.
He had a single dad with a daughter one year. He was interesting, and then he was going to make a drum room in there, wasn't he? He had this idea. Didn't work out.
I think when I moved out, Adam was like, "Yeah, I'll just take the whole thing." Because then we had Jack in there for a little bit. I shared it with Jack for a little bit.
Who's Jack?
Loose cannon, lovely guy.
Jack.
Really nice guy. Friends with Paul. Bit of a geezer. What? Jack.
Can't remember Jack. Lad.
Oh, Jack. He had. He bought a little mini motorbike in there, and then he was going to be doing all his motorbikes up in there.
Right.
And then it just got filled up with Dumb and Dumber style little mini motorbikes, little trikes and stuff. But
God, I can't remember that. Jack. I was in and out of loads.
Always wore flat cap, Jack.
God, vaguely remember. You didn't live with him, did you?
Very briefly,
Avenue
so we rented a flat together, sharing this flat, and he stayed there one night, and then moved in with his bird. So I had this empty flat for I don't know, maybe 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
And Jack I think he came in once. I thought I was being burgled. I think he'd fallen out with his missus, came back, and he opened the door, and I got up, ran to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and it's Jack walking. I was like, "Oh my God, that was in you in 6 months, Jack." He's like, "Oh yeah, I just fell out with the missus."
Now that space is a lot cleaner. It's the whole street is cleaner because the mechanics are gone.
Yeah,
so the whole cobbles is straight.
Well, the one at the end as well, Stefan.
No, Stefan's still there.
He's a nice guy. Actually.
He's a nice guy.
But yeah, it was all mechanic. It was a nightmare. You drive down there, you'd have to wait 20 minutes to try and park somewhere.
Yeah, so that whole area now is all cleaned up and just full of art, mate.
And what about the guys who had all the motorbikes? Paul.
He lives in, yeah, he moved. Paul
And Tim, wasn't it? Tim's moved up north.
Oh yeah. Tim's moved on. Paul lives around the corner.
Yeah.
Paul's an artist, isn't he?
Lovely guy.
Yeah, really nice guy.
Really
he's still
interesting
knocking
guy.
about. Not seen him for a while. But he's still knocking about. Yeah, the whole area is just.
But it was a good
gentrified.
It really has been.
Yeah,
it was a
it's kind
good
of
time
weird
to
to
be
watch.
there when we were first setting up there, because it was
Yeah.
old car garages that you rent for next to nothing.
Yeah.
And then that first little coffee shop opened, and then the small batch one opened,
Yeah.
and then something else, then a restaurant, then a pub, and it was like, this place is cool.
It's weird when you fast forward and suddenly it's kind of mega,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, we went there a couple of weeks ago, and we took the kids over there, and I reckon there's probably 4 coffee shops for every other shop when we parked up.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's unbelievable. And you just don't. They keep coming. So where the old gallery was at the end of the street, that's now a coffee shop. So it's mad, yeah. So it's kind of squashed the galleries all squashed down. Isn't it funny? And then all the coffee shops are all grown up. So I don't know how they can carry on with that.
Well, it's good. People could come buy coffee, come look at some art.
That's all they do. Yeah, exactly. Buy art, mate.
Buy art, and they're all caffeined up.
Yeah, that'd be good. I can't wait. So May Festival is the big one. That's the first time I'll have that place to myself.
So when's that? Give me the details.
The whole of May in Brighton is the artist open houses, galleries, and art people open up their homes. It's the biggest one in the UK. It's over 1,000 artists are showing in 250 venues across the city.
Wow.
It also coincides with the music festival of Brighton and the
Great Escape.
And it's like a fringe in it. It's like comedy fringe as well. So the whole town's great. May's the best.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So so that's the first time I'll do a solo show there.
Have you got a lot of pieces ready for it?
Well, I've got an exhibition in London at the same time, so
you're gonna have to split.
So yeah, I'm working on a lot of pieces.
Where's the exhibition in London?
The Affordable Art Fair in Hampstead.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice, darling.
Very nice.
So what's next?
And last year there, Ricky Gervais came on and said, I like Andy Walker's work.
Really?
Didn't buy out though.
Andy Walker painter or Andy Walker photographer?
Andy Walker. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
But he didn't buy anything.
Photographer's a different question.
So what's next then? What's next for Andy Walker?
Well, the next thing is to put, now I've let the cat out of the bag. I want to get galleries now. So because I've done all the work, it's at the time now where I can I feel like I'm putting everything together in a more cohesive way. So I'll be putting collections together. So I've got some stuff called Landscape, which is away from the people. So it's just like, as it says, landscapes. And that came through from lockdown, really, because I did loads of stuff on the downs in lockdown. In the downs in lockdown. Just sketches and stuff like that, but realised it's really nice when there's no one around.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to just living in cities and being around people all the time and work, all people, noise and noise and noise. So I've got these two sort of sides of the escapism stuff and then the crowd scenes. But the next thing is to go big, real big.
Massive.
Yeah, scarily big.
Are you ready for the stadiums though? That's the question. Are you going to put it back in the box when you go, you know what, this art thing, or are you going to take it and run with it this time?
The art thing I'm going to run with. I'm going to run with it, yeah, because it's exciting. It's exciting to it finishes. You know, music. Well, tell me the value of music. It's really difficult unless you're doing live. But at least with art, you've got a solid thing that you can say, you can hang it somewhere and people can get off on it. Whereas with music, that was really hard. How do you monetize that without? I don't know how you do it anymore. Wouldn't know how to do that. How to make a living out of it, how to get by with it. The art, you finish and you frame it and it's done and then you hang it on a wall and it's absolutely finished. Nothing to do. I love that. That's the aspects I really like about it. There's a real dot after it's finished of like, see you later, and you move on to the next one.
Punctuation. Yeah,
exactly. So now it's just I've got a few galleries that I'm targeting. And we've got a meeting this afternoon actually with someone who's a bit higher up on the agenda. So I think that's really exciting, mate.
Cool.
So exciting. It's just work, innit? It's just hard. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, but if you love what you do, it's easy to do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's still hard. I mean, it's still art, innit? It's still cutthroat business, I guess. You know what I mean? It's like everything. You've got to start shouting, like you said, that this is ace, this is ace, this is ace.
Or get
There's no one else
for you.
Do it for you.
Well, or get someone to do it.
Yeah.
So if you could give a piece of advice to someone that was just starting out and they were a wannabe artist, a budding artist, what advice would you give them?
Just like everything, innit? Just do it every day. Do it every day and stick it up on every wall you can find. I didn't do that. But when I did, weirdly, people started seeing it. It's that simple, you know what I mean? I look back and think, oh, yeah. If you put it in a coffee shop nearby, if you put it on someone's restaurant, or you put it, or you give it away to people, people start seeing it. They talk about it. One thing that, when I say that draw thing, I was in my studio, this is ages ago, and I was doing art, but I wasn't selling art. And someone came in and they were saying, is this your art on the wall? I said, yeah, got anything bigger than that? And I pulled the drawer open and they went, oh yeah, that's great, I'll buy that. Do you know what I mean? That's how not being shown is, that's just like, it's a bit like everything else, isn't it? If you can't see it, you can't buy it. So that was and that was ages ago and I did nothing about it. Yeah, I take it. And then, 10 years later, whatever. Just, you asked me what the problem is. I don't know what the problem is, mate. Maybe I'm just happy. You know what I mean? Maybe it's just, I'm not struggling. I suppose there's no struggle.
Yeah.
I didn't start at the bit out of college where you're struggling and you try to fight for it. I think that makes a big difference as well.
I think it does. We went for a real bad patch here.
Yeah.
Went for a big job. Lockdown happened, lost everything, got proper hungry for it, realised I can't lose everything again, and I just like the bit was between my teeth and I was running with it. Yeah. So from that point forward I was like, you know what, no walking on Easy Street anymore, I've got the hunger for it.
Yeah.
And then just kind of ran with it and sprinted.
No, because you have to.
Going.
You have to. You know what I mean? You have to.
And then it came good, but I think there's
it can work. It can work. I think when you start selling in art fair, when you start selling in spaces where people are going to buy art, then it works.
Yeah.
There's something there. You just got to get more places to do it. So yeah, for anyone starting out and doing anything, you just got to keep doing it and doing it. You mentioned Ed Sheeran, whatever anyone thinks of him, he worked hard.
Yeah.
He went to he did something like, I don't know, 10,000 gigs in a day or something. Whatever he does, you know what I mean? Just everywhere, playing everyone and just getting in everyone's ears. And then look what happened to him. And he's, that's proof in the pudding.
Yeah.
So it's just doing it every day, and like I say, giving it people and sticking it up and making people listen, making people sit on it, whatever it needs to be done. Yeah, I wish I'd been there.
Exposure.
Yeah, and don't care about it, which is the hardest thing to go because it's all like precious.
Yeah. You put yourself out there. You just got to get a bit of a thicker skin, haven't you?
Yeah, I guess I said before about me being that guy when you walk in and go, what, that much for that? Because that work's really brave, to put a real single line on a piece of paper and put it up on a wall for a price. That's pretty brave, you know what I mean? People, that's bravery, that is. So you just got to be brave, that's it.
It's good advice. And it's the advice that kind of most people have been on here, when I ask them that same question, it's the advice that's normally echoed. Just got to do it.
Yeah.
Make your mistakes, learn from them, move on. But the main thing is just have a go, get on with it.
Not everyone's going to get it, but that doesn't matter. If a few people get it, percentages, 1 out of 100 get it, then you're onto something.
That's kind of what I live my life, going out in Brighton of an evening. It's always a percentages game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely. It's changed a bit since you used to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit.
Well, that's because I stopped going out.
Yeah, exactly. Kids have that effect. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, Andy, it's been an absolute pleasure,
mate.
Thank you so much.
Great being here.
So remind me and everyone else listening. We see it this May, the Affordable Art Fair the whole of Brighton. Oh no, Affordable Art Fair is in this May is in Hampstead Heath. Really nice location. And the May Festival is the whole of Brighton for the whole of May. And that's really worth taking in because it's massive. And I didn't realise how massive it was until I got involved in it last year when I went to one of the meetings and I was described as the elusive Andy Walker, which is quite good. And I also got described as I'm like the Banksy of Brighton because everyone sees my art and doesn't know where I am. So tell them all, where are you?
Yeah, Queen's Place
in Hove.
But that's loads of, the whole city's open for art, and it's really is. There's some really good artists down there, and it's really worth a visit.
And a great escape, middle of May as well. It's a good time to be in Brighton.
Perfect time. I think it's the best month.
Kids
are still at school.
Are you playing any gigs over the festival?
I will not be doing any gigs. But if
combine the two.
If there's a guitar in the studio and someone did call me in and ask, I would play them. I would serenade.
You'd serenade.
Yeah. They get a free song if they buy a painting.
Oh, okay. I'll bear that in mind.
Yeah, it's all good.
Cool. Well, Andy, it's been a pleasure. A real pleasure.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Good luck at both fairs.
Thank you.
And onwards and upwards from here.
Brilliant. And you. Take care.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate.